Also, ANC spokesperson Pule Mabe has denied corruption allegations made by the Mail and Guardian against him. The publication alleges that Mabe is implicated in a multi-million-rand tender which was awarded by a subsidiary of the Northwest government last year.
Dark, rain-soaked lights flicker over a provincial vehicle yard, a fleet supposed to be dispatched. Instead, ghost vehicles, empty promises, and one name woven into the wires of power. Tonight we follow how a contract worth 27 million rand spiraled into a forensic net, and how the state is now closing in. The question: who pulled the strings? And how far did they let the public purse bleed? In March 2017, the provincial government of Gauteng issued a tender under number GT/G/DARD/030/2017 for the supply of 200 motorized three-wheeler waste collection vehicles. The contract value, R27,599,250. On paper, a drive toward innovation in waste management. On the ground, something very different. Enter the company, Enviro Mobi, Pty, Ltd, formerly Agris Linked, later renamed, a business with little track record in motorized utility vehicles, yet awarded this substantial contract. At the center, Pule Mabe, former Member of Parliament, former national spokesperson of the African National Congress, and his wife, Mmatlhekelo Mabe, also styled Mmatlhekelo Mabe. They and other co-accused stand in the crosshairs of the state's investigation into what is being called fraudulent procurement, money laundering, and abuse of public funds. According to the investigation by the Special Investigating Unit, SIU, the tender was awarded despite references to Enviro Mobi's lack of capacity, no prior record of similar vehicles, and multiple red flags in procurement due diligence. The head of the provincial department, then HOD of the Gauteng Department of Agriculture and Rural Development, GDARD, authorized the contract on the 9th of March 2017. The SIU says the award violated the requirements of the Public Finance Management Act, PFMA, and procurement regulations. Shortly after the award, payments began flowing. The state paid roughly 27.2 million rand to Enviro Mobi, yet the SIU alleges that no vehicles were delivered to any beneficiary and/or delivery of substandard vehicles occurred. Meanwhile, additional payments via the Metropolitan Municipality, Ekurhuleni Metropolitan Municipality, of about 9,036,125 rand were also made for 70 extra vehicles, which too were found to be substandard. The trail of funds began to cast shadows. Enviro Mobi's formal record shows that Pule Mabe had resigned as a director in August 2014, but the state says he remained a signatory and exercised full control of the bank account. His wife, Mmatlhekelo, is named as a director of Invest Trading, Pty Ltd, and the SIU lays out that monies flowed into her company and others linked to the accused. One of the accused companies, Star Mass Direct, Kariki Media, of which Mabe was founder, received about 6.8 million rand in linked transactions. The SIU describes how their forensic team traced the funds, identified irregular approvals, e.g., a storage cost payment of about 6.5 million rand for which there was no contractual basis, and filed referrals to the NPA. They also pursued preservation orders to prevent dissipation of assets tied to the accused, including property, vehicles, and pension entitlements. In October 2024, a media statement by the SIU formally announced the arrests and prosecution of key individuals. The accused included the former HOD of GDARD, the CFO/chair of the Bid Adjudication Committee, Mmatlhekelo Mabe, Pule Mabe, and several others. The state's charge sheet, finalized around July 2025, includes counts of fraud, corruption, money laundering, and contravention of the PFMA. Court appearances followed, with postponements and pre-trial hearings underway. Millions in public funds are at stake. A department mandated to deliver services to communities. A contract awarded to a company lacking apparent capacity. A politically prominent figure at the center. All the elements of high-risk procurement and governance failure. The case speaks not only to this contract, but also to institutional vulnerabilities and the political economy of tenders. Pule Mabe's legal team challenges several points: that he did not personally benefit, that he had resigned as director years earlier, and that the SIU's findings are legally flawed, procedural or mandate issues. These lines are typical in procurement fraud litigation, where a key battleground is corporate control and the timing of resignations or directorships. The defense also promises to challenge the chain of causation. Did the department cause the failure, or did the service provider? And whether the evidence proves personal dishonest intent. PFMA sets the procurement, reporting, and accountability standards for government entities. Breach implies mismanagement of public funds. Pre-CA, Prevention and Combating of Corrupt Activities Act, criminalizes corrupt awarding or acceptance of benefits in relation to contracts. POCA, Prevention of Organized Crime Act, facilitates money laundering and asset forfeiture when proceeds of unlawful activity are transferred or concealed. FICA, Financial Intelligence Center Act, underpins the detection of suspicious transactions and financial flows used by investigators. The next court mention, rolled over into early 2026, will likely reveal how the state is consolidating disclosure, the bundle of evidence, and whether any plea or settlement talks are moving. Asset preservation and forfeiture applications. If the state wins restraint orders, that will shed light on how much of the 27 million rand and linked funds can be recovered. Forensic evidence path, bank flow tables, transfer chain, beneficial ownership of companies. If the defense cracks the chain of control, then the state's case weakens. Institutional accountability. The department's audit, internal controls, and red flag responses are under scrutiny. A weakness here suggests system failure beyond the individuals. Behind the numbers, a township-born activist, rising in the ANC Youth League, becoming national spokesperson, building a business empire, moving into state contracting, then suddenly finding himself in a commercial crime court. His wife named in the charge sheet too. The communities that should have received waste collection vehicles received none. The vehicles they did get were substandard, while shiny names and high-level sign-offs mask service delivery failure. The power of political networks in securing large state contracts and the dangers when capacity does not match scale. The importance of forensic investigation units, like the SIU, in tracing funds and exposing structural corruption. the long timeline of accountability. Years may pass between award and arrest. In this case, the tender was awarded in 2017. The investigation was publicized in 2024, and charges were filed in 2025. That personal benefit is not always immediately visible, but forensic accounting aims to show it. That procurement failure often intersects with money laundering and sophisticated corporate webs.
Proceedings were briefly adjourned to allow Pule Mabe and his wife, who were late, to arrive. The state then confirmed receipt of representations by all the accused in the matter, but conceded that the documents were voluminous and could take a while to decipher.
Representations were supposed to have been made sometime in July. Unfortunately, because of the detail or the length or the complexity of the reps, I only received them beginning of August. That was the 4th of August 2025, Your Worship. As a result, the state is still dealing with those representations, and I have communicated this fact to the legal representatives.
As the case against Pule Mabe and co-accused makes its way through the specialized commercial crime courts, the spotlight remains on the 27 million rand loop, money meant for trucks, diverted into corporate channels. The outcome will tell us not just who pays for this failure, but whether our institutions can actually hold the powerful to account. In the dawn of reckoning, the vehicles may never arrive, but justice still might.